The earth trembled. A cloud of dust billowed on the horizon. Out of the haze, a terrifying spectacle emerged. Thousands of mounted warriors, their banners snapping in the wind. Welcome to Cryptic Mystic Vault, where we dive deep into the hidden history of human civilization. These were the Cumans, the scourge of medieval Europe, a nomadic tempest that swept out of the Eurasian steppe to clash with the knights and kings of the West. For centuries, their name struck fear into the hearts of settled peoples, their arrows a deadly hailstorm, their horses a whirlwind of destruction. They were masters of the mounted charge, masters of the bow, masters of a vast, unforgiving landscape that had bred them for war. They were a force of nature, and for a time they shaped the destiny of Europe itself. The very ground seemed to tremble beneath the hooves of their horses. Their arrival on the European stage was a seismic event. A clash of cultures, a meeting of East and West on the battlefields of a continent bracing itself for change. The Cumans, with their Turkic tongue and their nomadic traditions, were a people born in the saddle, their lives intertwined with the rhythm of the steppe. They were a people of immense pride and martial prowess, their skills honed over generations of raiding and warfare. They were the inheritors of a legacy that stretched back to the Huns and the Scythians. And they rode into Europe carrying the weight of that history on their shoulders. They were a people apart, these horsemen of the plains. Their language was alien, their customs strange to the eyes of settled Europeans. They worshipped Tengri, the sky god, and their lives were governed by the harsh realities of life on the move. They were a people accustomed to hardship, to the ever-present threat of danger, to the need for constant vigilance. Their arrival in Europe marked the beginning of a new era, an era of uncertainty and upheaval, an era in which the old order would be challenged by the raw power of the nomadic world. The Cumans traced their ancestry back to the vast expanse of the Eurasian steppe, a boundless sea of grass that stretched from the Carpathian Mountains to Mongolia. They were a Turkic people, their language and culture closely related to other nomadic groups like the Pechenegs and the Kipchaks. Their origins were shrouded in the mists of time, their early history a tapestry woven from oral traditions and fragmented archaeological evidence. They were, it seemed, born from the very steppe itself, their existence inseparable from the rhythms of the land that nurtured them. Their society was built on the back of the horse. These animals were more than just beasts of burden. They were companions, status symbols, and instruments of war. Cuman men lived and breathed horses, their skills in the saddle unmatched by their settled contemporaries. They were masters of mounted archery, able to rain down a deadly barrage of arrows while riding at full gallop. Their bows, crafted from layers of horn, wood, and sinew, were marvels of engineering, capable of firing arrows with incredible force and accuracy. Their nomadic lifestyle was harsh but liberating. They roamed the steppes in search of pasture for their herds, their lives dictated by the changing seasons. They lived in tents, easily disassembled and transported, their possessions limited to what they could carry. They were a resilient people, accustomed to hardship and deprivation, their very existence a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. Their nomadic lifestyle, however, brought them into conflict with the settled peoples who lived on the fringes of the steppe. The Cumans' westward migration brought them into contact with a mosaic of cultures and empires. The Byzantine Empire, centered on Constantinople, felt their presence first. Byzantine chroniclers recorded their raids, their descriptions a mixture of fear and grudging admiration for the nomads' military prowess. The Cumans, for their part, saw the rich cities and fertile lands of the Byzantines as ripe for plunder. The Rus, centered on the burgeoning city of Kiev, also found themselves in the Cumans' path. The two peoples clashed repeatedly, their encounters a mix of warfare, uneasy alliances, and even intermarriage. Cuman warriors frequently served as mercenaries in the internecine conflicts that plagued the various Rus' principalities. They were a wild card in the complex game of power that played out on the steppes of what is now Ukraine and southern Russia. Further west, the Kingdom of Hungary, a bastion of Christianity on the edge of the nomadic world, viewed the Cuman advance with growing alarm. The Hungarians, themselves descended from nomadic Magyar tribes, recognized the threat posed by the Cumans. They built a series of fortifications and raised powerful armies in an attempt to stem the nomadic tide. On the battlefield, the Cumans were a force to be reckoned with. Their military tactics were honed over centuries of nomadic warfare, their skills passed down from father to son. They were masters of the feigned retreat, luring their enemies into ambushes or wearing them down with a constant barrage of arrows. Their horses, bred for speed and endurance, gave them a decisive advantage over their heavier, less mobile opponents. Their primary weapon was the composite bow, a masterpiece of nomadic engineering. Crafted from layers of horn, wood and sinew, these bows were incredibly powerful, capable of firing arrows with enough force to penetrate armor. Cuman warriors were expert archers, able to hit targets at full gallop. They carried quivers filled with a variety of arrows, some designed to pierce armor, others tipped with flaming pitch. They were also skilled horsemen, able to control their mounts with incredible precision. They rode with their feet secure in stirrups, freeing their hands for fighting. They wore light armor, typically consisting of leather or quilted fabric, which provided some protection without sacrificing mobility. Their helmets were often conical in shape, adorned with feathers or horsehair plumes. The Cumans' military successes were not solely due to their individual skills, however. They were also masters of combined arms tactics, coordinating the movements of their cavalry with devastating effect. They would often open a battle with a hail of arrows, softening up the enemy ranks before launching a charge. Their attacks were swift and relentless, their aim to overwhelm their opponents with sheer speed and aggression. If the Cumans had successfully established a lasting empire in Europe, the cultural and political landscape of the continent would have been significantly different. Their nomadic lifestyle and military prowess could have led to a more decentralized and tribal Europe with a greater emphasis on mobility and warfare. The spread of their unique cultural practices, such as throat singing and horse archery, might have influenced European traditions. Additionally, their presence could have altered the course of major historical events, potentially preventing the rise of certain European powers and changing the balance of power in the medieval world. Imagine a Europe where the sound of throat singing echoed through the forests and plains, where horse archery competitions were as common as jousting tournaments. The architectural and artistic influences of the Cumans might have blended with those of the existing European cultures, creating a unique fusion of styles. The political structures of Europe could have been more fluid, with alliances and rivalries shifting as quickly as the Cumans' cavalry on the battlefield. In this alternate history, the Cumans' mastery of the saddle and bow could have become the defining features of European warfare. Their tactics and strategies might have been adopted by other cultures, leading to a more dynamic and mobile form of combat. The emphasis on speed and agility over heavy armor and fortifications could have changed the way wars were fought and won. The Cumans' influence might have extended beyond the battlefield. Their trade routes, stretching from the steppes to the heart of Europe, could have facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas and technologies. The cultural and economic interactions between the Cumans and the settled European populations could have led to a richer and more diverse society. Although the Cumans did not establish a lasting empire in Europe, their legacy can still be felt. Their skills as horsemen and archers, their distinctive cultural practices and their impact on the medieval world remain a fascinating chapter in history. The echoes of their forgotten empire continue to resonate, reminding us of the complex and interconnected nature of our past. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe for more explorations into the symbols that shape our world.